The early 90s was an era of duality in rock music. The wild, high-energy era of glam rock, propelled by bands such as GunsNRoses, was staring down a new wave of sound, grunge, with Nirvana's Kurt Cobain at its forefront. But what occurred when the two sides collided? The feud between Axl Rose and Kurt Cobain has become one of rock's most notorious rivalries, replete with nasty name-calling, backstage confrontations, and one legendary confrontation at the MTV Video Music Awards. Hello, welcome to Rated G. I'm Julia. Let's unpack the full story, from their first encounters to the explosive clashes that followed. Before their paths crossed, Axl Rose and Kurt Cobain were each already making history in their own way. GunsNRoses rose to fame in 1987 with a hard rock masterpiece, Appetite for Destruction, that made Axl Rose one of history's most dynamic frontmen. The band was a definition of excess, huge tours, hedonistic parties, a lifestyle that seemed too big for the world. If you look at Nirvana, who comes out of Seattle, that's the absolute opposite. Nevermind, their breakout album in 1991, rejected the flashy rock star image and instead embodied raw emotion, self-doubt, and anti-commercialism. But Axl Rose, in fact, like Nirvana back in the day, he called Nevermind a great album and invited the band to tour with GunsNRoses. But Kurt Cobain didn't want any of that. He viewed GunsNRoses as everything Nirvana was diametrically opposed to: ego, excess, and the kind of macho rock he despised. In a then-rare interview, he described GNR's music as mindless cock rock, and a feud, only more intense than that, ensued. Insults and backstage tension. Axl Rose was not about to remain silent after Cobain's remarks. He retaliated in interviews, describing Kurt as a freaking junkie and predicting that Nirvana wouldn't endure. Things took an even rockier turn when Dave Grohl, then playing drums for the riotous band Nirvana, poked fun at Axl's signature snake dance, mimicking his movements on stage and causing the crowd to roar. Axl was furious. He had loved Nirvana, but now Kurt was his enemy. The final straw came at the 1992 MTV Video Music Awards, a moment that went down in rock history. The battle for the MTV Video Music Awards. Behind the scenes at the VMAs, the anger boiled over. As Axl passed by, Courtney Love mockingly yelled, "Axl, will you be our baby's godfather?" Axl clapped to a halt. He looked at Kurt and said, "You better shut your bitch up." Instead of getting angry, Kurt turned to Courtney and said, "Shut up, bitch," mocking Axl's demand. Axl stormed off, but the feud wasn't over. Nirvana brought the mockery on stage. He was euphoric when bassist Chris Novoselic threw his bass into the air before it came crashing down onto his face. Axl, watching from backstage, reportedly burst into laughter. After the storm and final words, the feud continued for another year. Axl continued to ridicule Nirvana at concerts, and Kurt mocked GunsNRoses in interviews. But in 1990, for the rivalry turned tragic. I'm so ugly, that's okay, 'cause so are you. Kurt Cobain died from suicide on April 5th, 1994, killing Nirvana and altering rock history forever. Axl Rose never had the opportunity to reconcile with him. Years later, Axl would admit to regretting how it went down, but the moment was gone forever. This feud was never really about personal insults. It was about two completely different worlds colliding. Grunge had dethroned glam rock, and the music industry would never be the same. So what do you think? Would Kurt and Axl have reconciled if Kurt had lived? Or was this the one of rock and roll greatest rivalries, fated to be unresolved? Let us know in the comments. Thanks for watching.